Hey guys, former Olympic athlete Josh Thomas from the BitBlock here to bring you through the site's video review for Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games. That is more of a paragraph than a video game title. Alright, let's get into it. The gameplay here is obviously based around Winter Olympic events in the form of mini-games. This means you'll be skiing, bobsledding, snowboarding, playing hockey, and more. All that sounds pretty cool, and it's almost like, there's multiple sports in one package. The problem is, well, that's not really the case here. As I said, these events feel much more like mini-games than fleshed out modes. Each sport really should have several courses to choose from. In the end, skiing, snowboarding, and so on are just limited to like one or two tracks. As you can imagine, that gets old really fast. Variety and options are severely lacking here. In addition to the realistic events, Mario and Sonic 2014 also features dream events, which are arguably much more interesting. Basically, they're a wackier Mario and Sonic take on a Winter Olympic event. Some of these are actually quite fun. I really do enjoy the simple yet addictive snowball scrimmage game. You have to hop on top of a giant orb and roll it over to your team's goal without being beamed by snowballs from your opponents. One of the game's disappointing aspects, though, comes from the controls. The majority of the events use very basic, kind of stiff motion controls. I'm a fellow who actually really does love motion control, but here it just feels not all that great. Not to mention the game oftentimes pointlessly forces you to keep switching between the gamepad and the Wii Remote controls for certain sports. It gets, well, annoying. Overall, the gameplay hasn't changed much at all from the previous titles. Perhaps one of the strongest features this game offers are the visuals. Everything looks quite nice, especially the character models. In fact, I think this might be the nicest we've ever seen these characters look. It is worth mentioning, though, the animations are quite stiff and kind of robotic. The dream events make good use of referencing Mario and Sonic games. You'll see locations based on, like, Sonic Colors, there's Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Sunshine, and more. It won't shock you with its beauty, but this game actually looks pretty good. Just like previous games, Mario and Sonic's soundtrack is filled with really great remixes from classic titles. You'll unlock more tracks as you compete in events, and then you can decide what music you want to play when you jump into a game. The official Olympic music is quite high quality and exciting as well. Oddly enough, I really enjoy a lot of the sound effects for the menus as well. I don't know, it's just, they sound kind of cool. The same can't really be said, though, for the character dialogue. Oftentimes, the grunts, moans, and catchphrases they spout are repeated way too often. Like, the exact same sound clip will repeat 4 times in a row. It's just weird and lazy. This is where Mario and Sonic 2014 really kind of falls apart. After you've played the whopping 18 minigames, there's really not much more replay value. As I mentioned earlier, most of these events lack additional courses, so they get kind of old after like 3 tries. Nothing is really designed to inspire the player to replay again and again for a better score either. One of the kind of cool bits of content to unlock are costumes and clothing that you can then prance your Mii around in. Some of these are pretty silly and fun, but I gotta say, most of them actually are recycled from past entries in this series. For the first time in the series, though, you can compete online with other gaming athletes. The concept of an Olympic game that sort of creates a worldwide competition through online play seems kind of perfect when you think about it. I mean, this really could justify creating yet another entry in this series. But the online is limited to only 4 events. Yeah, and most of them are not even events you would care to play online anyways, so kind of a huge bummer. With a very small selection of games, no new characters, no interesting bonus modes, and a sad attempt at online play, replay value is, well, severely lacking here. This is the second Winter Olympics game from Mario and Sonic, and it's the 4th entry in the series total. At this point, I really feel like the studio is tapped out for ideas. This 2014 edition really feels kinda heartless. There are next to no new ideas, it's slow-paced, and it really fails to take advantage of being on a new system with a cool controller and much better online capabilities. Some of the minigames are kind of fun, but in the end, a few kind of fun games really doesn't mean much overall. I did enjoy the original Winter game on the Wii quite a bit, but this time around, Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games gets a 6 out of 10. Hey, thanks for watching this video from the BitBlock. If you want to stay up to date on tons of exclusive Nintendo content, be sure to subscribe by clicking here. And if you don't want the fun to end, you can check out more Nintendo coverage by clicking over here.